Is this white creator on TikTok who used to make funny videos? I will put it that way. And he decided to respond after the Sonia Messi situation and what he has to say because he's relating it to election and voting for Kamala Harris, whether to vote for Kamala Harris or not. And people are not buying it at all. The video is still up, even though people are on his heart. So maybe he's standing 10 toes on what he said. But people are not buying what this white man has to say and they have been dragging him. To be honest, what he said is not making any sense. I don't know if he's trying to rage bait and get attention to his page, but people are on his ass right now. I have put together the clips of what he said and what people have to say about his video. So without wasting much time, let's jump straight into it.
Anyways, you need to vote for a cop. And if you don't vote for the cop, you're not voting for the cop. And you need to vote for the cop because it's the cop's turn to be president. You need to vote for a cop. And if you don't vote for the cop, you're not voting for the cop.
That video just pissed me off so much. Sonia Massey's death is not a political gotcha. I'm on break and I'm seething right now because of this take. And I see more and more takes like this coming from palm-colored people, and it's almost minimizing her death, trivializing it. It might be hard for you to realize, but the Black community right now is mourning. Because once again, one of our lives is cut short because of the institutions in this country. But you're trying to use the tragedy of what happened to Sonia Massey to dissuade people from voting for Kamala Harris. Like, this take is incredibly insensitive, and it's a little bit brain dead. Because in your attempt to try to be our ally, you're showing that you don't see us as human. Many people on the left see Black people as a pawn, and I'm getting sick of it because you treat us just like Democrats do. Just like Republicans do as well. Until you can see our humanity, you cannot call yourself our ally. And if you watch this whole video and don't see the issue with it, then you're definitely a part of the problem as well. I don't give a fuck about Kamala Harris. She's had a spotty track record, yeah, but I don't give a fuck about it. That's not what this issue is about right now. Let's take a beat and honor Sonia Massey because her death was a fucking tragedy.
Anyways, you need to vote for a cop. And if you don't vote for the...
So you're saying, because Sonia Massey, an unarmed Black woman, was killed by a racist white cop, that reason is the reason we shouldn't vote for Kamala Harris, because she was a prosecutor. She's also a former attorney general that made sure all officers working on duty wore body cameras, so that way incidents like Sonia Massey's would always be documented in the state of California. Your logic makes no sense.
Okay, I'm not too familiar with the Moschino Dorito person, but I will say one thing that white people never fail to do, and it'll never surprise me, is overstep. Y'all overstep every time, and that's the main problem here. And people are addressing it, but I'm going to touch right on it. I'm going to hold your hand when I say it. And it's something that happens across all identities of privileged people, where it's like you get a little too much dip on your chip, and just because you feel like inclined to talk to or over people in the group that you hold privilege over, like that you feel like that you can because you think your politic is radical enough, shut the fuck up. That's the main takeaway. Do you know when I speak over or to women? When they ask me to, okay? When it's called for to defend a woman from patriarchal behavior, or when it's coming to check a man or somebody who is not a woman who is being misogynistic. That's it. Apply that to everything across the board. Tapping a motherfucking book. Please, girl. I have a women in gender studies, and this is just an example, y'all. I have a women in gender studies degree. The day that I get on here and say, like, I know what, I can speak on this issue that has offended women because I know theory, because I had to take feminist theory classes, that would be the day I would ask y'all to bring me out back and put me down, because I have lost my rabbit ass mind. I don't know if I can say it on here, but I just...
You need to vote for the cop because it's the cop's turn to be president.
So I saw your video, and something about it rubbed me the wrong way. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Maybe it was the way you kept poking the camera with your finger, which, by the way, wasn't at all obnoxious. But then some of my mutuals pointed out they didn't exactly like you using the Sonia Massey shooting to make a joke to prove your point. Then I went, oh, that's what it was. So I'm guessing your point is you don't think people should vote for Kamala Harris, or it's hypocritical for them to vote for Kamala Harris. Well, okay then. What do you suggest? What is the alternative? You're more than content running your mouth telling people who they should or shouldn't vote for, and yet you offer no viable alternative. So go ahead. What should they do? Because of our gender and our complexion, there is very little at stake for us in this next election. No matter who wins, nothing is going to really change for us. That's why when I go to vote, I'm not voting for my own best interest. I'm thinking of my nieces who I held when they were first born. When they grow up, I want them to be able to have their own bodily autonomy. I don't want the government deciding when they can or can't have kids. I don't want them growing up in a Christo-fascist society that's going to make those decisions for them. Depending on how this next election goes, it can put people who do not look like us at greater risk. But because that doesn't really affect you, you don't give a shit. You're more than content to tell them how they should or shouldn't vote because there's no risk to you. Maybe think about that before you do one of your little videos next time.
All right, I'm going to try to keep this short because I know nobody's going to watch it and TikTok's not going to push it if I blah, blah, blah. So here's the deal. These two situations. I want to talk about this in the context of providing a reintegration element to our restorative social justice systems, right? Meaning if we see someone who mucks up, giving them room to be able to be human and figure these things out within the context of these situations, right? Because one thing that people don't realize is if you have like 1 million or so followers, you've got a lot of people yelling at you at any given time. And so weeding through these voices and figuring out what direction to go can be tricky, but can be trickier in some situations more than others. And so just to kind of break these two situations down into two distinct situations, you got one situation where someone just went too far into a space, right? Meaning if you see a civil war between BIPOC and you consider yourself an ally, it's not your job to pick a side. It's not your job to be the voice of one side or the other. Your job is to keep a safe distance. Zip! This is you. This is you. Boom, shut the fuck up. It's not your space, right? Don't pick a side. I'm sure he's trying to figure out between all these different people yelling at him, wait, I thought BIPOC was, but then you've got, so, and then he's trying to figure out which way do I go? Backwards. Backwards is the way you go. Out of the space. Not your space. This is not your war to get into. There's a reason why when you look at the world stage, other countries will try to sneakily enter someone else's civil war to manipulate situations, but they don't just send soldiers over, right? Take a note from that. And there's another place you could take a note from. Over here in this guy's situation, because he gaffed, he made a mistake, right? But you could tell he's used to thinking quickly. He's very intelligent. So he came back too quickly because he hadn't unpacked everything yet, but he didn't realize he hadn't, and tried to respond. And he realized even that after that mistaken apology video where he tried to dissect the thing, and then he said, I came back too quickly. Dang it. And you see him working through it, right? That's what we need to make room for, and we need to understand these things within the context they exist. Meaning, again, when you've got an audience like this, normal people are not used to that kind of audience, for one, so it takes a while to process it. The fact that this dude processed it as fast as he did is a testament to just, that's that dude. He's a beast. He's figuring it out. He's been in this space for a while. This dude's taking much longer. Obviously, he hasn't taken the content down, so he's not come to any conclusions. But he also hasn't moved on from it, right? He hasn't just posted more stuff, right? And just moved on. So it's reasonable, at least by this time that I'm recording this. So it's reasonable to assume that maybe he's still processing, trying to figure out which of these voices should I be listening to? And he hasn't figured out yet that actually he should just be taking himself out of the situation because he made the wrong move from the start. But yeah, we need a restorative space where people can have the room to reintegrate into our society, because people treated these two people almost exactly the same, and they still are. Where he gaffed and we're treating them both the same, even though their reactions have been very different. Or at the bare minimum, they're at different stages in processing it. And so, just saying that to say we need to provide that space for people to be able to actually reintegrate after they make a mistake, and an understanding of the fact that no one likes being told they're wrong. Imagine being told you're wrong in front of the entire world. That sucks. So, there you go.
Election time is getting closer day by day, and people are becoming very, very sensitive honestly. And I'm saying this because there are so many comments of people saying, oh, he's just joking, people are taking it too far, and all of that. And people are literally online. And since the news that Kamala Harris is going to be running for the seat of the president, you guys, there have been so many opinions. But using a sensitive situation that happened, something that happened to an unarmed Black woman, literally at the comfort of her home, who had called the cops to come help her feel safe, using that to discourage people from voting for Kamala Harris, to be honest, is insane. Like, it's really, really insane. He even went as far as showing the books that he's reading, trying to stand 10 toes down on what he said. And people clocked in immediately saying, if you really, really go through this book, it's not going to be looking as neat as it's looking in that video. Let me hear what you guys think about that video. Do you think it is sensitive? I really, really want to hear what you guys think, because like I said, there are some people saying, people are taking it too far. He's just joking. Like, he has good intention. Just like this comment said, people are trying to defend him by saying he has good intentions too. Absolutely the fuck not. He's flaunting his perceived ethical, moral, intellectual superiority over specifically Black women, and that is how it is viewed. Like, that is how it is seen. Let me hear what you guys think about this video. Let me hear what you think about what the stage said as well, and I will catch you guys in the next one.